Hello, and welcome back to Mindfully Rich Podcast, your weekly look at life and finances with a twist. I'm your girl, Richie, and child, let me tell you what. I am so glad that I do this podcast because I just want to help people. Woo! I have started looking at stats and I've gotten into that game of numbers, and I know I shouldn't be in there. I know that the podcast is still new, but I am so glad that I do this because I care about helping people, because trying to keep y'all as listeners and listening through the whole episode, I have just got a whole new vision. Okay, I was like, oh man, I'm gonna have to change up. I'm gonna have to do this. I'm gonna have to do that. Now, those of y'all that rock with me, y'all really rock with me. And y'all are the ones, y'all know who y'all are, the ones that's listening. And the ones who reach out to me to keep me motivated, to keep me coming back week after week. Y'all just don't know how hard it is to be consistent during a pandemic. Y'all don't even know. I am sitting here on my phone. I record this on my phone faithfully each week. And that was the biggest thing that I told myself. I said, each week, if I can be consistent, have a new topic lined up and bring it to y'all, I have done what I have came to do. And you know what? I told myself for a year straight, I want to see if I can be consistent enough to do this without any help. But I am getting to a point, y'all. I think I need to get social media help. I need to get advertising help. I just need to get some help, y'all. Oh my goodness. I'm a Capricorn. So sometimes it's hard for me to relinquish that assistance to someone or delegate, but I'm getting to the point now where I understand I can't do everything, and perfection is just not something that I'm going to achieve in this earth. It's not something that I'm supposed to achieve, but I'm getting there. And so I thought I could do it by myself for so long, but we're about to get some assistance because I want to populate social media with some engaging things for y'all. But currently, y'all, my head is just like not there for, and like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. So I appreciate y'all following the page. I know that I have not been engaging enough to really capture y'all attention, but I promise if y'all hold on, it is coming. But anyways, welcome back. I'm so glad that y'all have decided to tune in for another episode. And I always say we for those of you who are new to the podcast, because I'm only here because of y'all. Because of y'all listening, I do this for y'all. So I always include y'all in we for the podcast. And we are on season 2, episode 4 today. And I just couldn't be more excited. I couldn't be more excited because I made a promise to myself March 9th. We're going to do this and we are going to rock this until the wheels fall off, at least for a year, so I can reevaluate, see what needs to be changed. And we just going to go ahead and keep it moving. So if you didn't tune in last week, it was a juicy episode. I'm not going to tell you about it on this one. You're just going to have to go back and listen. I talked about life insurance and mistresses. From that title alone, you need to go back and go listen. But today, we're going to go ahead. For those of you who are new to the podcast, what I do each week is I talk about life and money. And sometimes the episodes may be more geared towards life, or they may, that was like a tongue twister for me. They may be geared towards money. But today we're going to talk about life a little bit, because the life topics, y'all seem to like those a little bit. Now, I ain't doing it all the way for y'all. It's just that we had to take it light this week, okay? I've been talking about some heavy stuff for the last couple of weeks where it's been real instructional, almost educational. But this week, I want to take it a little light with y'all. And our music title inspiration comes from the group Playa, one of my favorite songs from them, Cheers to You. And we're calling this the Adulting Through This Pandemic episode. Y'all, oh my goodness. I know that I have told y'all before that I asked my grandmother's 90 years old, when this pandemic first started and a little bit in between it, I'll say like in the middle of it. I was like, Grandma, have you ever seen anything like this? She's 90 years old. Of course, you got to ask the elders if they've seen things like this, because you're looking for some type of hope. Like, my grandma is the closest thing to knowing Jesus on this earth to me. Okay. So it's like my grandma got the main line to the Savior. So it's like I had to ask her, like, what you think about this? any hope, okay? Because I know that I'm not the only one. Sometimes it could be so demotivating each and every day to see what's going on with the pandemic. We got the election going on right now, to see the numbers, lots of states, cities. I guess states and cities are in the same place. But anyways, lots of places are shut down still. Some people are open, up and popping. We ain't gonna point no elbows at no specific people or whatever. But I know it can be very demotivating to get through your days, to get through if you're working, to managing your lives, managing your children if you have them, managing your relationships if you're in them. It's just real demotivating right now. And I wanted to talk about adulting through this pandemic because, y'all, like, I done been an adult for a little while now, but yo, this is hard. I'm just finna be real. Like, some days I just want to take it back in the day when I didn't have no worries. But even being a kid nowadays has to be hard, because think about it like this. I'm 35. When I was in elementary school, junior high school, college, all of those things, we weren't locked down. So I know adulting seems hard, but it is so hard for our kids, the teenagers, young adults, all of them right now, because they're not even getting the adulting experience that we had, and it's just hard as a whole. And so I wanted to talk about it a little bit, because how are y'all finding ways to stay motivated? Like, I know it's hard for me. I downloaded an actual book, because normally I'm a loose reader, meaning I listen to Audible. That's like my reading. And so I said, I'm going to start actually getting a book. So I have Kindle on my Mac. And so I'm like, let me just start reading the actual book instead of listening to the books. I'm listening to lots of music right now. I'm on YouTube a little bit more now. I just started watching a new series on Netflix. My best friend came into town to lay eyes on me because she had to check on me. Okay. And she got me watching Dynasty. I'm watching Dynasty now. This show is so good. Let me just go ahead and say that too, right? All the drama going on in that show. I'm like, you know what? That could take me away for a minute. So that way I don't have to think about my own life or adulting or anything like that. And so how are you finding ways to stay motivated? Because that's important, because when you lose hope, when you lose motivation, that's it. Depression City. That's where you're at. And a lot of you may be depressed. That's a thing. I've been trying to look into options of, I think I've mentioned this quite a few times, therapy. Just because back in the day, therapy was like an unknown factor. Like, and I'm Black too, okay? So it's like in the Black community, if you said anything about therapy, first thing somebody gonna call you was crazy. That's just kind of how it was. It's probably like that in other communities, but I can only speak for my culture. But right now, it's not an unknown thing to want to go to therapy, to want to talk those feelings out. And there are still lots of people who don't want to do that, but I encourage it. I'm still looking for a therapist. If you're out in the Sacramento area and you think that you could be my therapist, or if y'all got some recommendations, send it to me. Email it to me. Let me know, because I am looking for a therapist right now. And I was also going to look into, I know that there's lots of therapy apps right now. I can't think of the name of any of them right now, because I would rather them sponsor me to say their names. Okay. Look, I'm always thinking about money. Okay. And so I'm thinking about utilizing one of those apps to find a therapist. But the most important thing is finding a way to stay motivated. And you want to know, it's so funny to me, because I did a couple of posts on Instagram where I was talking about I found $1 million, and I was talking about I found Lysol finally. It's so funny to me that during this pandemic, like, the cleaning supplies just left. I was like, so before the pandemic, nobody was like cleaning their house or using Lysol or doing any of the things to like sanitize your houses? Because I was just like, I don't understand how all of the products just left. Like all of the products that did any type of germ killing was gone, especially Lysol's products. Like I literally thought Lysol had went out of business for at least 6 months because I just got Lysol from Costco. Like they have the cans, I think it's like 4 cans, like the big cans too, y'all. And finally got the disinfectant spray. But you can't hardly find the disinfectant wipe. So I'm like, when nobody disinfecting their houses before this, but cleaning, making sure that we're cleaning because to be honest, I didn't think I would have to say this, but apparently everybody wasn't cleaning their house. And the reason why I'm saying cleaning is because we want to try to combat this dang on disease. Look, Corona is a disease at this point, okay? Ain't nothing keeping us away like this, okay? Everybody been saying virus. To me, it's a disease. It just is. And so, are y'all cleaning y'all houses? Now, I know that's a part of adulting. Like when you get older and you now have to manage a household, you got to make sure you clean it. And the one thing that I do, which may be a bit OC, out of control, for those of you who didn't know what that meant, I like to clean a lot. Okay. My friends will tell you, my kids will tell you, when we come in this house, take off the clothes. I don't like walking around the house with the stuff on. Like I'm Lysoling down everything. Like it is just a thing. Like at night, I have a whole routine, go around the house, cleaning up, doing all type of things. Like all of the stuff I used to see my mom and my grandma doing back in the day, and they were doing that back in the day before there was even a mention of like a corona. And so now I'm doing those things now because you got to make sure that your house is clean. You got to make sure that's an adulting thing, but it's also because of the things that we're going through right now. You got to wash your hands. Like my hands stay so old looking. You know how like when your hands just be in water for too long, like that's what's going on with my hands right now. I'm cleaning so much and I'm spraying down everything so much just because you got to keep everything together. And so I also want to move on to, are y'all taking care of yourself right now? Taking care of yourself, meaning getting the rest that you need, resting your brain, getting off of social media sometimes. I've been doing that a lot lately. I've been off of social media. Shoot, I can't even tell you last time I was on Facebook, but I've been off of social media just because sometimes in taking all that stuff into your psyche is just too much. I know it is for me. I'm just speaking for myself. And if that's what you need to do to take care of yourself, do that. If you need to take a break, a mental break, do that. Pause. Are you staying healthy? That's something to think about. I tell y'all what, during this pandemic, a part of adulting is making sure that you're taking care of yourself. And I grew up where we were eating all the bad foods. Now, it wasn't bad at the time. It tastes really good, but it wasn't good for my health. And so living in California, I truly believe has saved my life because, child, let me tell you what. I wasn't eating salads. I wasn't eating any type of nowhere near healthy. And the reason why I say salads, some people will be like, well, what do salads have to do with it? Like, I didn't understand the power of those leafy greens and what they do for your body. Food is medicine, y'all. And I am learning that the more I get into my older years. Food is medicine, and I have been treating it as such. I be investigating, getting my sea malls, all of the good stuff that I need to take, taking my vitamins. Y'all, seriously, you got to make sure you take care of yourself during this time. I did an episode because truly this pandemic is showing us it's survival of the fittest. You have got to be healthy during this thing. And so you want to make sure that you're taking care of yourself, exercising, all of those things. I'm so happy now that all of the smoke is gone here in California because the only thing we did have was going outside to exercise. And then we had all these wildfires going on in California. We couldn't even go outside, couldn't exercise, do any of the things. And so walking has become like one of my favorite things to do. I try to get 10,000 steps in at least a day just because now I understand, like when I was little and like my mom would be like, my leg hurt, like it's sleep or, I'm not moving it enough. I see that because I work from home. And so in my big girl job, I'm sitting at my computer, my desk at home. And if I don't move around, my legs start popping. I start feeling pain. That's what happened when you turn 35. You be like, child, what is going on? What's this? And I don't need nothing scaring me. So I'm like, let me go ahead, get up, exercise, take care of myself. So I hope that y'all are thinking about those things while you're in the house. Take care of yourself. And then, of course, make sure you're reaching out to people. I told y'all that my best friend, she had to come out here to get eyes on me. Make sure that you are reaching out to others. There is a lot going on during this pandemic, y'all. And I know while we're trying to get through this adulting, you still have to make sure that you're reaching out. I know back in the day, it was one of those things where it was like, I don't want everybody in my business or nobody to judge me or things like that or whatever. You have to have some close people in your life. I have my best friend. I have my friend circle. They're right here that hold me down. I have my god sister. I have, y'all, a circle. Who is your circle? Who are you reaching out to help you through this time? Don't just be sitting in the house silent. Now I could be that way sometimes. And that's the reason why I got a circle that could reach back out to me and say, yo, what's going on? Too quiet over there. What's up? You need that in your life. So make sure that y'all are doing that. And of course, y'all know I'm a money expert, so I got to talk about this. A part of adulting, and especially during this time, making sure that you're staying on top of your finances. Lots of people's financial situations have changed during this pandemic. I don't know what yours is, but whatever situation you sitting in right now, make sure you are staying up to date with where you stand. That's not a hard thing to do. Just looking at how much money you got coming in versus how much money you got going out and planning for your future. However it is that you decide to do that. Okay. And something that I've been thinking about a lot during this pandemic, especially in regards to adulting, and it's what COVID is teaching me. It's teaching me a lot about how I used to live my life, how I used to spend my money, the choices I used to make. And it's teaching me about decision making right now. Like, my decision making skills have been broadened due to COVID. There's a lot of things and a lot of ways I'm moving different. But for y'all, that's a question that I have for y'all. I know y'all can't answer me, but I want y'all to think about that. How are you moving different due to COVID? What has it taught you? Just because I believe that it's always a lesson in everything that happens in our lives. And so I'm learning some good lessons right now. And I'm pretty sure lots of people, y'all learning some lessons too. Child, let me tell you what. Y'all probably getting out of situations that y'all shouldn't have been in, marriages y'all shouldn't have been in. You didn't stop spending your money places you shouldn't have never been spending it. Child, y'all probably getting all type of lessons. Whatever lesson you get in right now, I want y'all to think about that, just because that's something that I've been pondering and just thinking about how I'm going to take that into whatever normal life we're going to have after this. Because I don't know what normal is going to look like. I don't even think normal is going to be a thing. It's just going to be the new normal. Let's call it that. Okay. It's going to be the new normal. But my closing words for all of that with talking about adulting through this pandemic is, how are you going to be resilient through this? Adulting is already hard. Like I said, look, back in the day, I used to, when I was a kid, I wanted to be an adult. Then when I became adult, I was like, child, I don't want all these responsibilities. Because we know we have all of these responsibilities and things that we have to do. Stay motivated, taking care of ourselves. How are we going to make sure that we're doing that? How are you going to stay resilient through this time? And so that's just a question I just wanted to pose out there to y'all, because I feel that it's important that we at least address it, because I know right now the pandemic is the ghetto, y'all. And when I say the ghetto, I mean the struggle is real. It is real no matter who you are. It's hard staying motivated as a whole, keeping your hopes up, having some type of happy moment, all of those things. That is important to do, but it's hard to do during this time. So that's the reason why I wanted to talk about adulting through this time. And I'm going to go ahead and move over to our financial self-care tip of the week. And that is to count your blessings. I don't talk about gratitude enough on here, and I should. There's a lot of things that are going wrong right now, but there are still some things that are going right. There are still some things that you should be grateful for. Number one, if you listening to me if you're under the sound of my voice right now, that's a blessing that you can still hear. It's a blessing that you still here on this earth to even be able to do anything, to even be able to complain if that's your thing, if you're complaining right now. So what is it that you're grateful for? Think about the things you're not only grateful for in your life, but think about the things you're grateful for in your financial life. I know lots of things have changed for people. People have lost their jobs, or they've lost wages of some sort. You may have, there's just so much that could have happened. But what are you still grateful for having? You may not have what you had, but what do you still have that you could be grateful for? And writing that down, keeping like a gratitude journal and writing down what you're grateful for in life and what you're grateful for in your finances, y'all, because we need all that we can right now to stay motivated. And thinking about what you're grateful for and having that gratitude moment or having a gratitude journal, that can help you to get through that day or get through the next day. All we can do is take it day by day. That is all we can do. Okay, so I hope that I've given y'all some insight. I truly appreciate y'all tuning in to Mindfully Rich Podcast. Make sure y'all listen. Share. Follow your girl on Instagram at mindfully_rich_podcast. And in the words of my favorite YouTuber, Funky Dineva Ross, that's all I got. Ain't got no more. Until next time when I hit y'all with another one.